Hello, I'm Amy Zaley with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for Wednesday, October 23rd. Do you want to hear some good news? A wonderful organization called the Maccabee Task Force works on college campuses throughout the United States and Canada in order to combat the anti-Israel speakers and BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction events on college campuses. They seek to educate and provide awareness and bring in a counter voice to the often anti-Israel drumbeat that reigns across college campuses. The Maccabee Task Force press release earlier this month provided a year-end summary for the academic year 2018-19 and a forecast for 2019-20. In 2018 and 19, they expanded to 80 college campuses and had 1,200 pro-Israel events on those campuses. They also brought 1,500 educators and campus leaders to Israel for a first-hand account and exposure to the reality of what Israel is and who the Jewish people are. And despite the most aggressive attempts of BDS activities, only one event of their 1,200 was overshadowed by BDS counter-protesters. They also noticed that upcoming year 2019-20, the group will expand to over 100 campuses throughout North America and for the first time have operations at overseas campuses, most of them in Europe. This organization is very valuable and in my prayers, and you can find the Maccabee Task Force on Facebook and learn more about their specific focuses and events on campuses, and maybe there's one near you that you could support or help with. The expansion of the Maccabees network on college campuses comes at a time when those who even address the Holocaust in a historical setting seem to be watering it down and adulterating it. Many Holocaust remembrance study groups and curriculum are now excluding Jews from even being mentioned or have them be mentioned as an afterthought. Even though over 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust, groups which should be recognized and known and studied, such as the Romanians, the Gypsies, the Slavs, gays and lesbians, trade union members, the infirm, the mentally disabled, all these people were also targets of the Nazi killing machine. But it was because they fit right into the initial premise, which is the so-called Jewish problem, that needed to be removed from society to, quote, purify their race. Now, like I said, it is important that all groups are recognized and acknowledged, and there's an understanding of the events of the Holocaust, but not at the expense or by omission of the Jewish nature of the suffering. Seth Franzman of the Jerusalem Post had an enlightening but frightening article in an October 4th edition where his research has noted that the excluding Jews from Holocaust studies and discussions is more and more popular. The University College Union in the United Kingdom sent an email to all of its branches excluding the mention of Jews on the group regarding the Holocaust Remembrance Day upcoming in 2020. Holocaust Memorial Day 2020 is slated to take place on January 27th, 2020. That event has also been renamed HMD, and many think that is to remove the idea of Holocaust or the word because it is somehow offensive. Now, they did not mention Jews, but did mention other groups who suffered at the Holocaust, and rumor is they have since apologized for that omission. Holocaust Memorial Day 2020, like I said, was renamed HMD, and they've also teamed up with another group called Stand Together. Now, the Stand Together group isn't a bad group. They examine modern-day trends and issues regarding genocide for different groups, but again, at the omission or the lack of attention to the greatest genocide in recorded history that took place less than a century ago in the heart of Europe. On college campuses, we're investigating truth, finding history in its complete context, examining it, and really thinking about it. That has to be done honestly and with integrity. A true history student will tell you that you need to learn from the past, why people are the way they are today, and that helps shape policy and forward thinking for the future. To adulterate history, to water it down, to make it sound nicer, more inclusive, to skew it to please a certain group or a faction or some cultural sentiment, this is a disservice to education as a whole and the very people that historians want to try to help, which is the present and future. A review of other sites, including the HMD 2020 and the Stand Together groups, reveals that Jews seem to be systematically missing and excluded from discussions on the Holocaust. There's a 6-page PDF that the HMD Trust has a download on their website. And they noted that research showed that 5% of people don't believe the Holocaust happened, 8% don't really believe don't know the scale from which it's happened, or believe it's exaggerated, and 64% don't know the actual number of Jews that were murdered. 6 million. 6 million. They don't know that number. The PDF also doesn't mention the answer to that 6 million Jews were murdered. They just mention that people don't know the number of Jews that were murdered. So they also note in this PDF different groups that tried to help Jews or people escape the Holocaust, including a highlighted section about Albanian Muslims. Now, I think it is very important to talk about the different groups that tried to help people escape from the Holocaust, particularly Jewish people, because they were the targets. But you also have to include all the groups that helped. A significant amount of Albanian Christians smuggled Jews and helped hide them. So did Christian groups in Belarus. So did individual Christians in Holland and Belgium. But this 6-page report only highlighted one group, a Muslim group, and noted that it was the strong Muslim ethical beliefs that was the fuel to why they wanted to help the Jews at the time. Again, not anything wrong with studying that, but you need to study the totality of the people that tried to help. Now, what I've just mentioned, of course, is not good news. The good news is that college-focused organizations such as the Maccabee Task Force and Camera on Campus are working diligently to provide the countermeasure, to provide the truth and the full context, and to correct the record for Jews in the past, Jews today, and the nation of Israel that exists because of them. The Kraft organization, located in Foxborough, Massachusetts, a large business conglomerate, Robert Kraft, the chairman and CEO, announced back in June in Jerusalem an awarding of the Genesis Prize to start a new foundation to combat anti-Semitism. He named Rachel Fish, her resume is quite impressive, as the executive director of this foundation. She was named just a couple weeks ago, and the foundation has commenced as of October 7th, 2019. Kraft used $20 million of his own money to start the organization, as well as accepting generous donations from other organizations and individuals. Now, many of you may be thinking, why do we need yet another group to combat anti-Semitism? Well, I say the more voices, the better. Our organization here is a Christian Zionist organization. And the Kraft group, from what I studied, didn't seem to really align with any spiritual side other than that it was pro-Israel and pro-Jewish. The Maccabees certainly seem to be Jewish in their identity. All these voices are necessary, and we are willing to work in tandem, share information, learn from each other, and support the efforts of each. Each group has a unique reach, a unique field of influence, a unique set of network, a unique set of appeals, and certainly a unique set of talents and resources. And all these voices are necessary. The more cries of truth that are peppered throughout the whole world, including North America and Europe, in my opinion, the better. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.